For this week's edition of Bophelong, I am Pule Molebatsi. Welcome to the show. Looking at the political and socio-economic landscape of South Africa since the 1994, the vulnerable groups through the Department of Social Development have had comprehensive social protection services against poverty and violence. The Potter's House, a center for destitute women and children, the elderly as well as people with disability, is such an organization. We spent a day at the center to chat to women who've overcome domestic violence. Here are their stories. A home away from home. A safe haven.
When I come here, they welcome me and then they give me a room.
A place where past mistakes create stronger and better versions of who they truly are.
I forgive him, but I don't want to go back to stay with him.
They come from all walks of life with the hope of a fresh start. The Potter's House, a center that caters for destitute women and children, has provided more than 4 walls and shelter, but a place where they can reflect on the past and right the wrongs in their lives.
With homeless people, with women in prostitution, young girls on the streets, and people who live in abandoned buildings or where there's really bad buildings, and also bad areas like Marabastad and Salvokop, which are areas that are very disadvantaged. So we focus very strongly on our outreach so that people know what the organization can offer, and we see it as a journey towards reintegration.
With 2 decades in existence, the center has become the go-to place for women and children who are willing to make a change in their lives but have no resources to make that a possibility. The stories of 2 women from different generations, places far apart, but both with similar needs. Meet Smangele and Anna. They have made strides in their pursuit of happiness. Today they reflect on a journey of thorns and fire that burned their souls. When Anna came to the center, she had lost a purpose for living and felt robbed of happiness.
Depression. Ke sa robale, ke ntse ke le pregnant, boshego ke sa robale, mosegare ke sa robale. Ke le ka find out gore ka ge a ne le bana ba ifole mme o mongwe wa gona kwa a tswang ga gabo. Ke le ka hotse le gore a mo divorce mosadi ola ba sa le legally married. Mola ena mpoditse gore o mo divorce. Ka tšatši la funeral mosadi o ne le yena ile go makoti nna ne ke sesilo, so ba mpotša gore ne ke ja tšhelete ngwana bona, so that's why a paletše go divorce mosadi ola cause divorce ne nyaka tšhelete, lawyer na nyaka tšhelete.
Depressed and angry, her future looked bleak.
Ke le ka nagana gore ge ke lobelega ngwana o ke šetše ke boletše di-social worker gore ke misha for adoption cause ga ke bereke, ke sa bereke, motho o neng a nthegile o hlokofetše na hlokofetšeng obvious a ko hwetša selo sa mmerekong wa gagwe cause go ne le mosadi le bana ba e leng gore ba mo molaong. So nna ne ke se selo gore mo go bona ne ke le motho ene gore ne ke ja tšhelete ya ngwana bona, that's it.
Things continue to spiral out of control.
Mo ne re hirile gona go ka se gore nna ke tshwanetse ke move out because a ke sa ne tšhelete ya go patela. Ka ya ka bola di-social worker before ba nraka ba re ke tsamaya gore nna ke motho ene gore ke lositše motho ene go nang supporta, ke lositše mmereko before that, then ke lositše yena, then no ga ke sa ne le income e kenang mo ke dulang ba tlo nraka e se gale cause ba mpoditše gore bona ba nyaka tšhelete rent.
It was at this point in her life she had to redefine what happiness meant to her.
Ka tšatši la go belega ke belege ngwanaka, from there ba mpontšha yena ka thoma ka bona ra ngwanaka monnola ga gona at all mo ngwanaka o tshwana le ngwanaka o mongwe mo baneng ba ka so kana I want my baby so ka ba botsa nna ke tsamaya mo hospital ke tlo tsamaya le ngwanaka.
The steps to healing required a transition from a place of hopelessness to a place where judgment wasn't a priority.
Ke tja ke fihla mo ka hwetša basadi ba ene go le bona ba abusitswe differently from me because bona ba abusitswe ke banna ba bona ba bang ke di-boyfriend so go bolela le bona ka recover ka kgona bona right this thing a se nna ke le one so go nthušitše a lot because ke ile ka hwetša a peace of mind ka be ka tshwarela le bona batho ba ne bang abusang for I wasn't aware of them so ke ile ka ba tshwarela go fihleng ga ka mo it seems ke ile ka starta a new life. For me it was the start of a new life coming here because I ke bereke mare ke kgone go ja ke kgone go hlapa le ngwanaka shu o hweditše diaparo from here.
After the break, we chat to Smangele Sodumo about her encounters with a man who abused her for years since the age of 14.
Our eyes are the window to the beautiful wonders of the world, but blindness enhances other senses. Technology has made living with blindness easy.
If you look at the side here, it's got like grooves in there.
Yeah.
So the first one after when it comes together will be at 20 Rand, 50 Rand. And if I slide this in, I can see according to the grooves, it's now on 50 Rand.
To Steve Kekana, blindness was never a hindrance, but a blessing.
You've got to know that you are the child of the universe, being blind, and you've got the right to be here.
Join your host, Dr. Sello Mutawun, every Saturday from 9 a.m.
Get all the latest news from the SABC's online news services on our website. Breaking news and in-depth coverage of everything from business, sports to politics and lifestyle. Catch the top news clips and watch live streaming of major news events on the SABC News YouTube channel whenever. Stay connected on the SABC News Facebook page and have your say on news that matters to you. And for the latest headlines and live updates from our reporters, follow us on Twitter. SABC Digital News, anytime, anywhere.
Welcome back to Bophelong on SABC News. Smangele's pain has many faces to it. The nuances in a story show that life is not defined by the number of blows you take, but how you recover from that. Smangele Sodumo came to the Porter's house in a search of security for herself and her little boy. The center prouds itself of its commitment to the safety of vulnerable groups in society.
The women and children live here together. When it's a much older child and there is a problem with space, we could take an older girl, like we had a matriculant last year, and so she went to Lerato House. But then she comes and visits her mom, and on weekends she stays with her mom. We make sure that women get to appointments, we take them there, we make the appointments for them. So at the intake phase, one assesses every need of a woman who comes in and then deal with that together with her. Obviously one doesn't create dependency, these are grown women, but we create the access for them.
Smangele broke away from an abusive relationship and found refuge at the Porter's house. She shared the memories of her painful past with us.
I was 14 years old, and the first time Yes, I was scared, and he beat me with the belt. He said, I know these things, why I'm scared.
The abuse in her relationship was familiar as it happened to her mother.
While I was young, my life was good at home. Yeah, I was staying with my mother and my father and my 6 brothers and my 1 sister. We were staying in the shack, 2-room shack. And then since we stayed there since 2009 until 2014, while my father started to beat my mother, abusing my mother. And then my mother started to look for a life outside because of she was abused. And then she started to stay with the boyfriend, and then I was left alone with the kids, my brothers. At home, I was supposed to take care of my brothers.
It was during one of the fights at home that Smangele was introduced to a man who would later abuse her.
2013, he came with his friends at home, and then he came with his friends. They were drunk at night. My mother, he was back at home that time. He asked me to go outside. There's some clothes outside, and it was not clothes, it was a man outside. He said I must go with that man, and then I was supposed to go with that man. That man I know as a friend of my father, because he was coming at home as my friend of my father. So, and then I go to that man, and then I sleep there. My father came in the morning. He started shouting at me. He said I must go back home. He was wanting to beat me, so I ran away. I go back home. Since there, my life starting to change. My father, he was getting worse every day. Every weekend, he will beat my mother. My mother, sometimes he won't even sleep at home. She'll sleep outside. Even if my mother sleep outside, even us, we are supposed to sleep outside.
During one of the conflicts between her and her partner, he would remind her that her father had traded her for money.
That guy starting to buy for me school things, because at home they were not buying my school uniform, stationery, so that man, he was always buying for me. But he started to abuse me when he saw that at home it's like that, because where he stays is not far at where I stay. So he started to abuse me too, because I was staying with him. He started beat me. He said, yeah, you are like your mother, you are a prostitute, you sell your body.
She reached out to her mother but could not get the help she was hoping for.
My mother, she was scared of my father, that my father will beat her again. So she was just saying, okay, why your father do like this? I will try to talk to him, but she won't.
She felt trapped in a cycle of abuse, and things seemed to be worse when she found out that she was pregnant with their son.
I was thinking even to do a miscarriage, because the situation I was in, I thought maybe it will be worse. Because to have a child, and my brothers, they are here, I must take care of my brothers. Because those days I was staying with my brothers that time, so I was confused.
Stay tuned. When we return, we look at the major moves Smangele made to rewrite her life story.
The big news is Newsroom.
We also stream live on YouTube.
Whether you're at home, at the office, or at the gym, wherever you are, Newsroom is right there with you. Bringing you all the latest news, updates, sports, weather, and everything in between. Get all the latest news you need on the go via live streaming on our YouTube channel. That's Newsroom, weekdays at 9 a.m. only on the SABC News Channel.
Preparing for victory requires intense effort and teamwork. When you get to it, there is no turning back, because all eyes are on you. When it's action time, nothing should stand in your way. Sports Live tackles and analyzes all the sport action. This is the home of all your sport news, updates and more. Sports Live weekdays at 8:30 p.m.
Morning Live sets the agenda for the day. We bring you the latest local and international news.
We are on the ball with all your sports activities and results.
We give you the latest business update.
We bring you the latest weather every time.
Watch Morning Live every weekday morning at 6 o'clock, bringing you everything you need to know before you go. Shap shap, tada.
Welcome back. Through the Potter's House, Smangele was able to build a bridge to get to a place where she could be herself, stand against the violence that seemed to have carried on through different generations in her family. Some victims of abuse stay in abusive relationships with hope that things will change or the perpetrator will change his behavior. The statement is echoed by Leah, who have seen this happen to many women who've come to the center.
When the women come, we always tell them that we don't want you to tell your partner exactly where you are to avoid such problems, because then the man or the boyfriend will find that, okay, my wife is not here, then they will still come to try to get their partner. But now, because we've increased our security measures, we try to with our gates that no one is allowed. Not that the people would come in, but they will be outside trying to say that, chanting, I want my wife, I want my girlfriend, things like that. So we always encourage our women that you're here for your own safety. With relationships, as you all know, you can never tell a woman to say that you must leave your boyfriend or you must leave your husband. They have to make that choice themselves. So what they do is that when the women come, let's say they've stayed with us for a month or something, you'll see that they want, because now they start missing their boyfriends, then they want to go back. Then they usually go back. That's part of the relapsing. Then they go back and then they'll find that like the first week everything is perfect. The second week, is perfect. The third week tension starts to build. And then the fourth week, then it gets out of control. Then that's when the abuse starts. So that is why when the women come, we talk to them about the cycle of abuse.
Smangele is one of the few women who refuse to look back after breaking free from an abusive relationship.
I go to the social workers, and another social worker I meet there in Mamelodi. I tell her my situation, and then she took my brothers, all my brothers, she took them to the shelters, and then she come and fetch me where I was staying. I was staying with my boyfriend. She come and fetch me there, and then she bring me here in shelter. She came to us because she's coming from a young age. She's been abused. The mother, it's coming from a very broken background, alcoholic mother and father, like broken family. So she's been taken like a family, child-headed household.
The day she walked into the Potter's House, she knew she was at the right place. The center has helped her pick up the pieces of her life.
When I come here, they welcome me and then they give me a room. It was nice, and then here they teach me some skills development, and then I found even that thing, if you have a situation, Counseling, yes. I even found a counseling. We start from where the client is. We work based on, we don't force the client, let's say like for the counseling part, we don't force them to start talking because we believe that the client, everyone moves on their own pace. So once the person comes in, they can either start telling us their story right away. Sometimes some women will take longer. So based on that, we will do our, we plan our therapy based on how the client, at what stage the client is.
The Skills Development Program equips women with an ability to provide for themselves and contribute in sustaining the center financially.
We have specific trainers that come that are working with us on a daily basis on those days that we say that we're doing the skills. So they train the women how to use the machine, the different designs. And then you also find that because this kind of sewing or any skills that we're doing here, it's very therapeutic for the women, because if you give a woman that, let's say they're sewing something and they're putting beads or something, that time it gives them a lot of time to think through of whatever, like to also see that they have inner talent that maybe they never knew that they had. The items that the women make, so whether it's fabric painting, trays, table mats and all those kind of things, we sell those in order to generate income for the shelter, because we believe that as an NGO you also need to be able to sustain ourselves. So our programs that we're running also try to push her towards the direction of making sure that the people that we sustain ourselves financially.
She has embraced her independence and she's looking forward to a life that will be a complete opposite of her upbringing.
She's now on our volunteer program, where she is getting a stipend, and you can just see how she's flourishing and just wanting to move forward. She actually wants to go back to school to do her matric.
She has taken charge of her life through the process of forgiveness.
I forgive him, but I don't want to go back to stay with him. I believe in Bible, because God said, forgive those who trespass against us. So I just forgive him.
From what we have just seen, it goes to show that space, time, and age isn't of importance. Pain is pain, and the ladies at the Potter's House acknowledge one another's pain without judgment, and together they work towards healing. It doesn't matter where you are in the universe, there's someone out there who is going through similar experiences. So speak out, reach out, someone will answer your call. Thank you so much for watching us today. Until next week, it's a goodbye for now.